The story begins with a young man shares with his boss that he successfully arranged a meeting with a client. However, he confesses his sadness about his personal life spiraling downwards and struggling to find clients who are willing to work with him. Despite this, he remains determined to secure the next client and pushes himself to work harder than ever before. As he approaches various clients, he faces rejection from all except one person who agrees to work with him. Overjoyed by this opportunity, he realizes that it could lead to the promotion he has been striving for. While walking the streets, he witnesses a thief being chased by a policeman. In the chaos, the young man is accidentally struck by a stray bullet and falls to the ground. Feeling immense sadness, he believes that his impending death will cause him to miss out on the promotion he worked so hard to achieve. However, to his surprise, he finds himself being reborn as a different person named Lucille in the enchanting world of Galdaria, a realm filled with magic, monsters, and extraordinary abilities. Lucille is astounded by the fantastical surroundings and falls to the ground in disbelief. Looking up, he spots a dragon soaring through the sky. Observing his unfamiliar clothes, he realizes that they do not belong to him. Someone approaches Lucille and explains that they can provide him with basic knowledge. They inform him that if he wishes to stay, he should say the phrase open status. Intrigued, Lucille utters the words, and a status screen resembling a video game appears before him. Using this feature, he discovers that he is in a vast world teeming with magic, monsters, and extraordinary abilities. He selects his new name as Lucille and proceeds to allocate various skills, including proficiency in martial arts and controlling supernatural abilities. Regarding his occupation, he chooses to become a healer. Although he is only 15 years old and at the first level, he believes he can assist people and secure a stable job. However, he also desires the true courage to face the monsters in this new world. With only a few metallic pieces in his hand, Lucille realizes that it is all he possesses now. He embarks on a quest to find his new occupation. However, his journey is interrupted when he encounters the immense courts of a colossal monster. Filled with fear, he begins running desperately, avoiding a potential second death. Finally, he reaches a massive building guarded by soldiers at the main gate, with a bridge leading to the other side. People are crossing the gate, but before they can pass, they must pay a fee. Lucille enters and is asked by a soldier for his identification card. This revelation shocks him as he does not possess any form of identification. He explains to the soldier that he doesn't have any papers proving his identity since he grew up in a small village and became a healer at the age of 15. Unfortunately, his skills were not valued in his village, leading to his banishment to a distant land. Determined to find suitable work, he entered this place hoping to train in a clinic or hospital among other possibilities. At that moment, the soldier asks Lucille to wait while he consults the person in charge of the situation. Then, Lumina appears and asks, "Are you the one who wants to join the clinic?" Lucille replies, "Yes, I came here hoping to find work in this town, but I don't have any fees." Lumina informs him to follow her to the Healers Guild. Lucille hurries behind her, thinking, "I can't keep my partner waiting at work." While rushing, he accidentally bumps into a boy. The boy warns him to watch his steps and asks where he is rushing to. Lucille explains that he is heading to the Healers Guild and that he can no longer use magic, so he wants to become a healer. He expresses his intention to be an honest and ethical healer whom people can trust, hoping to gain their confidence. Lumina appears and says, "A little trouble won't harm you. Even if it does, I'll step in." Lucille is surprised by her statement and thinks to himself, Lumina is incredibly strong. She would fight against those powerful men. They continue on their way, and Lucille asks Lumina about not paying the crossing fee when he entered the city. Lumina explains that only the Empire collects fees from healers. Healers deal with matters of life and death, so they receive preferential treatment. Lucille realizes that he is now in the Republic of St. Charles, the home of the Healers Guild. He feels amazed by this revelation and thinks, "Fortunately, I was reborn here." Carrero then asks Lucille to fill in the necessary information on the document. She informs him that if she hadn't contacted them, they would have sent a representative on his behalf. Lucille starts writing the information and comes across the field asking for his hometown. He doesn't know the name, so he thinks to himself that instead of forging it, he should claim ignorance. He informed Lumina that he could mention his village but wasn't sure if it had a specific name. Lumina assured him that it shouldn't be a problem. Curious, Lucille asked if the town had another name besides Nerotoni. Lumina confirmed that it was located near a town called Toni in the Republic of St. Charles. Carrero arrived and asked him to transfer his magical abilities. Lucille handed her the document, and she transferred his magic by storing it within the paper. She handed him the healer's card, and they proceeded to a room. In the room, Lucille asked Lumina why they were entering. Lumina explained that she was registering his card in the healing network, which would allow him to use it in any healers guild worldwide. Then, Lucille went to a staff member who verified that he was indeed a healer with an inclination for controlling magic and sacred spells. Lucille expressed his gratitude but wondered how she knew all of that. Lumina joined them and informed them that she would seek permission. Despite everything seemingly falling into place, Lucille felt uneasy because not everything was going smoothly. If he wandered around now, it would be impossible for him to find work at the clinic. He informed Lumina that he had never used sacred magic before, so he didn't know how to do it. Lumina gave him a terrifying look, and Lucille became scared. However, he knew he had to keep up the act, so he told himself to continue pretending. He informed Lumina that there were no spell books in his village, and he would be the first healer there. Lumina, realizing that Lucille was very ignorant, had no choice but to help him. Lucille became overjoyed, and Carraro asked him if he could train at the clinic to learn the basics. Before Carraro could answer, Lumina quickly intervened, informing him that he had 3 choices. The first choice was Spartan training, where he would study hard to learn the healing spell and continue practicing until he could use it. The second choice was taking out a loan, which meant he would enter a regular educational institution and study for 3 years to learn magic. However, he would need to repay a platinum piece to the Healers Guild. The third option was becoming a trainee, which was considered humiliating. During professional training, he would perform various tasks while studying magic during his free time. Lucille had to make a decision and contemplated Lumina's words. He realized that professional training seemed much easier, but he didn't know if he would have free time. The loan option reminded him of his previous life, where he had to deal with harsh loans. Spartan training seemed intense, similar to studying for exams, but if he could gauge his progress and work toward a specific quota, he believed he could achieve his goal. In the end, Lucille decided to choose Spartan training. When Carraro learned about his decision, she asked Lumina to handle the rest, and Lumina agreed, saying she would send him to his room. Lucille thanked Lumina for everything she had done and promised to repay her someday. Lumina congratulated Lucille on his choice. He entered his room but was surprised to find no windows. Holding a book of incantations, it seemed to be a spell book. Lucille became ecstatic and made a vow to himself that he would learn everything within 10 days. He tirelessly read through the book, learning about the magical power emanating from the body and how it enhanced skills instantly if successfully harnessed. Lucille started thinking about how to unleash this power, imagining performing a reverse incision. At that moment, a faint glow emanated from his body, but ultimately, he failed to perform the required spell. Lucille despaired because he couldn't do anything. He realized he was just an ordinary person. However, he suddenly became alert, feeling that something had left his body. He activated the status display and saw that his progress was gradually improving. He understood that he was doing it correctly but needed to repeat the process. Lucille worked tirelessly, never giving up. In the end, he discovered that he had gained 1 point. Exhausted, Lucille realized he had pushed himself too hard. After some time, his points returned to 50. If I improve my use of magic, it is necessary for the amount of magic consumed to decrease. Perhaps I should prioritize this instead. Then I should start feeling the magic within me to learn how to use it. The next morning, when he woke up late, he made sure that the recreation of life wasn't just a dream and that the book remained closed on his previous life. If he worked hard, he might be able to live a better life here. Therefore, he decided to do his best. He repeated what he had learned the previous day. The first step was chanting the magic, the second step was stopping before completely exhausting himself, and the third step was practicing dealing with magic and recovering magical points at the same time. He kept repeating this over and over again and started to feel that he was getting used to magic. Suddenly, the evaluation screen rose and the numbers increased. He became very excited about this. Then, a girl named Monica entered and brought his meal. He thanked her, and she told him it was no problem and advised him to eat well to continue working hard. They secretly arranged to meet each other. On the third day, Lucille continued his therapeutic training and tried to apply it to heal an imaginary wound. He used the healing technique with great skill this time and was amazed at the tremendous healing energy in his hand. After that, his union worker congratulated him on mastering the healing spell, took his card, and informed him that it would cost him 1 silver piece. Lucille was shocked by this extremely low price and gave her the silver piece. Then, he asked her what he should do next. Should he go to Lumina for guidance? Monica was surprised to find out that he was the person she brought Lumina to, and she apologized for the confusion. She gave him the silver piece again and told him that Lumina had arranged for him to borrow the room for 10 days. Lucille was surprised to learn that Lumina had such great authority. Monica then revealed that she was a member of the new Knight Order affiliated with the church. Lucille was overjoyed to meet her and realized that he could continue his training for 7 additional days. The problem was that after all this training, he would have complete free time. However, he was determined to promote himself as a healer. He remembered that healers could earn money through healing magic, and the acceptable cost for casting a single spell was 1 silver piece. Lucille was shocked by this extremely low price. Monica advised him to pay attention to the union members, who should also pay their dues known as offerings according to their ranks. He realized that he could benefit from his experience working in his previous life. He continued walking and decided to search for an adventurer's union where he could work directly as a healer. Suddenly, someone called out to him, and he found that it was the adventurer he had met before, the one who wanted to fight him. Lucille became very afraid of him and his companions, remembering the fight that had happened between them. He deeply apologized to them for that day. His friends told him that he frightened this new healer, but an idea came to Lucille's mind. He asked them about the adventurer's union. Suddenly, they noticed that the adventurers were seriously injured, and the intimidating young man rushed to help them, apologizing to Lucille for causing trouble. Lucille became angry with them for ruining the situation and told them that he had warned them to reject dangerous requests while they were still beginners. Their injuries seemed serious, and they couldn't rely on the clinic. Lucille recalled his conversation with Monica, realizing that they couldn't rely on the clinic because if a healer charged a high price, the headquarters would send someone else. He knew that their schemes were wicked and feared that the law couldn't touch them. Determined, Lucille vowed never to become a corrupt healer, no matter the outcome. He decided to practice his first job in this world, which was healing the wounded adventurers. Everyone present in the place was shocked by his decision. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel, Annie Explainer.